We're back, ladies and gentlemen. As in, Javier and I are back for this episode. You might be wondering why the fuck Javier and Robert are back for this episode, and why isn't the continuation of the previous episode with the Wise Guys not playing right now? Well, that's because the second part of the Wise Guys episode should be out later this week. I'm aiming for Thursday morning. This Monday we have some fascinating stuff. For example, Javier was a guest on a different podcast recently, the ppwPodcast. It was episode 11 on that podcast. Those guys definitely know a ton of wrestling, and I recommend you head over and check them out. A few days ago, someone in the wrestling world was involved in some controversy. We'll get into detail about that. We have a review for Disney's recent live-action adaptation of their animated classic, Beauty and the Beast, along with a review for the horror thriller Get Out. And we end things with a bit of gaming news. If you want to reach us on Twitter, Facebook, and email, at the end of this episode, I'll have more details on that. Javier, you were a guest on a podcast recently? What was that about?
I was on the Positively Pro Wrestling Podcast, or ppwPodcast for short. Mm-hmm. They're on SoundCloud. If you look for them in SoundCloud, ppw Podcast, the URL, soundcloud.com/ppw-podcast. I was on there.
By the way, I just checked right now. They're also on iTunes.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're Android too. Mm-hmm. They're a wrestling fan podcast. So they're not wrestlers or anything like that. And right. The podcast I was on, they talked about WrestleMania moments. They've been building up for the WrestleMania weekend. Their podcast, as you can tell from the title, just focuses on wrestling. And I like their podcast. They tell a lot of cool topics. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how did you get involved with them?
Oh, he posted on the host of the podcast. He posted on Reddit asking for guests who have been to WrestleMania, specifically a bunch of them. And I've been to a lot. The next one I go to is my 10th one in a row.
So are they new? Is this a new podcast that they started?
They have about 11. I think I was episode 11. So
there are new.
Yeah.
So you see, it just goes to show that our podcast is new. By the time this comes out, this will probably be episode 7. 99% sure it will be episode 7. So it just goes to show, like, if you have a passion for something, you can start a podcast. You can do it yourself. You can do it with a couple friends. It's really not that hard today.
Yeah, it's crazy. Everybody seems to have one, and it's really sprouting everywhere. It's easier nowadays, and it's fun.
So tell me about what was the process for that ppw podcast?
It was just exchange of messages on Reddit. That's about it. It wasn't anything super. I think just the fact that I've been to so many WrestleManias was enough. When I told them how many I've been to,
for them to reach out to you.
Well, I reached out to him initially after he made that post on Reddit.
Gotcha. All right. And that's already out, you said?
Yeah, episode 11.
Cool.
I'll be there for a few minutes.
I'll have to listen to that. What's the next wrestling news you have for us?
Well, just an FYI for the listeners. Next week we'll have a guest. I actually initially saw on Reddit. He creates these wrestling scorecards. So at the pay-per-views, you can have these predictions, and yet there's these extra credit for specific things that could happen in a match. And you build up all these points, and you compete against other people. This is all on paper. He just releases like PDF. He doesn't have like some kind of central website about this.
So he'll be on next week.
Yeah, I like doing his score sheets with my friends and fiance. We usually they have some kind of wager, and it's been fun.
Oh, that's cool. And
so far,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So to just start talking about wrestling here. One of the biggest news that's come out this week is that Io Shirai has been at the WWE Performance Center doing some sort of tryout. Now, that name might not be too familiar to people. In Japan, she wrestles for a company called Stardom, which I would say most of the best women wrestlers are there. Especially, they seem to have their own pool of talent from Japan, and they pull these other talents from other countries like the UK or America, Australia, and they wrestle there, and it's all women wrestling. There's no men wrestling there. And Io is basically their top star, has been for quite a few years. She is fantastic. I would consider her the best female wrestler right now. And recently they had a top 10 wrestlers of the year, and she was number 8. Right. And a woman hasn't been in the top 10 in over a decade, I think. So it's just kind of to show you her skill set. So so WWE posted on their Twitter about the Performance Center that she was there, and they pulled it away. It's not up anymore. You can't find pictures of her at the Performance Center. When I say Performance Center, WWE has a Performance Center in Orlando, right, where basically they train their new people and get people, ready. So that's what she was. So that's pretty interesting. WWE already actually signed another female from there, and she's supposedly has signed a 3-year contract. She's basically a secondary star in Stardom, and she is, I guess, friends with Io. Io also has been with Asuka, and Asuka right now is NXT Women's Champion. So there's a bit of a connection there going on.
How long has she been in the league or wrestling for WWE?
Which one? I guess Asuka. She's the only one actually there.
Right.
Yeah, Asuka's been there probably a year and a bit. I think about a year, actually. She's been pretty dominant. She's still women's champion. She's been women's champion for, when it comes to WrestleMania, that'll be her 1-year anniversary of being champion. And she's been undefeated the whole time she's been in WWE. She's pretty dominant, as you can see.
She sounds dominant.
Yeah, she's about to surpass Goldberg's undefeated streak. Just to give it some reference here. If you remember, Goldberg from WCW had an undefeated streak, and she's getting to that point. So in other wrestling news, there's Netflix released recently the Lucha Underground series, seasons 1 and 2. It's another wrestling show, but different. Versus the WWE product. It tries to be kind of like a movie. It has a different feel to it. When you watch WWE programming, there's no credits before the action starts, right?
Right.
Here we have credits, and when they do some kind of segment for setting up story, it's shot like a movie. It doesn't feel like it feels like you're watching a movie. It doesn't feel like you're watching some guy
something live or recorded TV.
It's recorded TV, so it's recorded.
But it's shot with a cinematic feel, cinematic cameras, not TV cameras.
Yeah, and a lot of the wrestlers are from Mexico. They try to go for the lucha style, but there's other wrestlers who are not, with that background. Like
Chavo Guerrero Jr.?
Yeah, he's from Mexico. Well, he's I think billed from El Paso, which is Texas, but Mexican background wrestler, kind of lucha. He kind of adapted a little bit. He was in WWE for a while, but he's actually in Lucha Underground. And they also have Prince Puma, who's also known as Ricochet. And John Morrison. That's his WWE name. In Lucha Underground, he's Johnny Mundo. And if you progress in the show, you'll see more and more wrestlers, like Pentagon Jr. He's really good. You'll see Mil Muertes. And I know later on you'll get like Rey Mysterio. it's quite a bit of talent in that show. Have you been able to catch any of the episodes?
I started it, and that's why I was describing. It's like a cinematic feel, not like the live television camera WWE usual look. I see what you mean by the being. It's scripted, which is, even though WWE and other wrestling leagues are scripted, this is more like they hire actors, they have a script. It's like you're watching a TV show, or a weekly episodic, like a regular dramatic TV show, but this time with wrestling involved. If you're into that sort of stuff, you might enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. I'm honest. I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't watch too much of it.
Yeah, it goes a little as it goes progresses. It gets a little far fetched. Like I think there's a wrestler who turns into a dragon and stuff like this, and someone's like immortal. So it goes quite off. It's definitely very different.
It sounds like Game of Thrones / wrestling, sir.
A little bit.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
I was also going to mention quickly about another news. This is celebrity news / wrestling. So we know. Do you know who Paige is?
Yes. Well, Paige Van Sant, the MMA fighter.
No, Paige from WWE. She's in Total Divas. She's going to be in the new movie that The Rock's production company is doing. It's based on her life. Her whole family are involved in the wrestling business. Her mom's an actual wrestler. I think her dad too. They had a documentary released a while ago, and I guess The Rock might have saw that and thought maybe I could do a movie off of this.
Okay.
Her life has had some drama lately, which I'm not going to get into right now.
What?
The news is that
she was naked pictures or some shit?
Yeah, that happened yesterday.
How did I know? And I don't even know who the fuck she is.
Not only naked pictures, videos.
Oh wow, sex tapes.
Yeah, basically.
You have my attention now.
Yeah, and then in one of them, she's having a threesome with 2 other wrestlers.
Oh. And have you seen this so-called video?
Yeah. It's nothing. I mean, there's nothing
so she's dabbled in porn.
I mean,
you could
tell these are just for personal.
Wrestler. Oh, it was
they're
personal
not made
and
for porn. This is like.
Why do people? I mean, guys and girls. Why do they fucking want to record themselves having sex, and then they share it or they don't like hide it well? It's like, what the fuck? One day that's just gonna get on the internet. Millions are gonna see it.
What everybody loves is 2 things that came out of it that are, besides just being nude and porn, basically, or I should say porn. It's sex. The 2 things that came out of this was, one, the threesome, because the other wrestler now is married and has a kid. These videos were made a few years ago, so I don't know if he was with the girlfriend or not. Just to name the 2 wrestlers.
Right.
One of them is Xavier Woods. He actually has a YouTube channel called Up Up Down Down. He's a big gamer. And he's in a stable or tag team called The New Day. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy, he's not in the company anymore. He was fired like twice. His name was Brad Maddox, I think was his name. He was the boyfriend of, I guess, Paige. And I don't know how it happened, but they involved Xavier Woods at one point to have a threesome. So I guess he invited his bud for a threesome with his girlfriend. And most of the videos are just between Brad and her. There's like 3 or 4 of them, I think. And like one of them, she's just playing with a dildo. Like she's like, it's funny because the video she made for him, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make I'm gonna practice for anal later, make the hole bigger." And the way she says it makes it's just funny. It's not even turn me on or anything. It's just funny. It's like the way she talks about it. It's like kind of like giggles and everything. It's like, this is kind of funny, but yeah. So it's out there. And the other thing I was gonna mention was there's a picture of him jizzing. I don't know if there's a video of it too, but the guy's ejaculating on the women's title, the NXT women's title.
Holy shit.
And right now, Asuka in NXT has it, and people were posting pictures of her doing close up with the title because of this.
Because it's the one that the guy jizzed on.
Yeah,
He fucking cummed on the title.
it was another moment people were just posting
Yeah,
when
yeah.
she had both the women's title
The
from
shit that people do, man.
Yeah, she had the title from the women's division in Raw. She moved up to, I didn't say move up, but she went from NXT to Raw. And she had the title there, and she had the NXT title, so they made her give up the NXT title. So they posted a video of her giving it up. She kind of looks like, oh man, I didn't want to release this title. And people are making fun of it because she has so many memories with it.
That's some crazy ass shit in the wrestling world. And
Yeah,
all this broke down when? Yesterday? This week?
yes. Yeah, so it'll be interesting what happens on Monday with Raw. If they even mention this in any way.
Do you think they're gonna like fire her or suspend her or something? Because they've done that to other people, not because of this similar incident, but for other incidents.
She's already been suspended twice, both for drug fails, and both of them are back to back too. They're very recent, and she's hurt right now. She had surgery on her neck.
If the wrestling career doesn't pan out, she always has pornography to fall back on.
Yeah, another thing is, so her next suspension will lead to her being fired. But the thing is, The Rock is making a movie on her right now, so it's kind of like
that might get canceled.
they're filming it.
They started filming it.
Yeah, it's filming. They have everybody's acting it out and everything.
Oh wow, okay.
They have different actors for Paige in the movie, someone who actually can act. But it's like what a situation. Do you fire her? She's the person the movie's based on.
Well, they might have to hire a new writer to write the new ending. That she gets fired from the WWE if that happens.
No, I think they'll probably keep her around so they can make money off of the movie and promote it.
So it's about so WWE is co-producing the movie.
Yeah, the Rock's production company is working with WWE Studios.
Oh, okay. Oh, speaking of The Rock, I saw something recently. So,
Dwayne Johnson for those.
Yeah, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So Dwayne Johnson, he's in he's been in the last 3 Fast and the Furious films, and he's gonna be in 8. So they released a new trailer for Fast and the Furious 8, which is called the Fate of the Furious. I don't know. They fuck up these titles for these films. And there's a scene in the fucking trailer. You gotta watch it. He's like they're like in the Arctic. So they're racing, or they're on these cars, and The Rock is driving like a truck or something on ice. There's a submarine that comes out in the trailer, breaks through the ice, shoots a torpedo towards The Rock. It's sliding, I guess, near him on the ground, on the ice. And The Rock gets out of his truck. He pushes the torpedo with his bare hands to a fucking car. I was like, holy fuck. These movies get more and more ridiculous.
Yeah, that's Fast and Furious.
I was like, the fucking Rock throws a torpedo at somebody. Oh, that shit made my day when I saw that.
Just to wrap this up with the Paige thing real quick.
Yeah.
I went to her Twitter. She did release a statement. Just to read the statement to people.
Go ahead.
Personal and private photos of mine were stolen, and unfortunately, they were shared publicly without my consent.
She
got like 13,000 likes or loves, whatever that's called in Twitter.
They're likes. They do like.
They are likes, yeah.
Like Facebook.
And 5.4k retweets. 2.9k comments, which is pretty high for her. I'm sure other celebrities have a lot more. But it's crazy.
It is crazy.
And The Rock's punching torpedoes or whatever.
Throwing torpedoes on the fucking ice. Javier, make sure you don't secure your nude photos. You don't want them going out in the public.
You know how I don't get them released?
How?
By not doing them.
By not taking exactly. Who the fuck takes nude photos, man?
Just a
The fucking CIA sees that shit. They fucking have all our photos that we take on our fucking database.
yeah. Just a guess here. You can see one of the videos he's recording with his iPhone.
Okay.
And we've heard of people hacking the iCloud. Or,
Yeah,
it's called.
you can hack Android, iPhones, Windows, anything.
Yeah, I'm sure because these were uploaded to the cloud and people somehow got it. This is just a guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Anything else in the wrestling world?
Oh, just a countdown to WrestleMania. I'll be there live.
And when is that
in
again?
About
When is WrestleMania? What day?
April 2nd.
Orlando?
Orlando, Florida. In the what stadium is that? I think it's called. I think the main stadium they have. They only have one. It used to be the Orange Bowl. I forget what it's called now.
But it's not the same location, the same stadium that you and I went to back in 2008? It's not that one? Or is it?
Yeah, it's that one. It's just been upgraded.
Oh, okay.
I saw This Is Us, like the first 2 episodes.
Oh,
And,
I've been hearing about that shit. You saw it
yeah,
with her, right?
it's normal people drama. Nothing, out
No
of this world.
zombies or apocalypse or nothing.
Nothing.
No end of the world shit.
It's just written well. That's all.
Okay.
It's I don't. Do you care if I tell you what it's about? Like really, what it's about?
You've only seen the first 2 episodes, so you're not gonna spoil much. So go ahead.
The first one is kind of a spoiler. Anyways, it's basically follows the lives of 3 siblings. There you go.
3 siblings. Damn.
Well, one of them is black, and the other 2 are white. And the end of the first episode, the second episode, they kind of did a kind of a oh shit, what's gonna happen next kind of thing.
Oh.
Like it pulls you in, and it's normal stuff like complications over pregnancy or just whatever. It's nothing. I'm finding myself not as interested in those kind of things. I'm more interested into fantasy or sci-fi or whatever, something different.
I don't shy away from a real life drama, as long as it's well acted, good writing.
Yeah, and it just does have all that.
And things that are everyday realistic things. I don't mind all that shit as long as it's done well, like I just described.
Yeah, and I saw the first 2 episodes of Iron Fist, and I don't see why it has bad reviews.
The first 2?
I'm liking it.
The first 2?
Yeah.
Okay, but have you seen people's complaints about it?
Something about the drama that's slow in the beginning.
The drama that's slow. Well, that's what they're complaining about. That it's a slow burn show. It's not high impact, I guess, like the other ones.
I don't know what people were watching. This is not. I guess people want really heavy.
Maybe it gets worse. You've only seen 2. What is it, like 10, 12, 13 episodes?
Whatever the usual is. I think isn't it?
The usual is like 12 or 13. So Netflix teamed up with Toho and Polygon Pictures to release a animated series of the King of All Monsters. That's right. Godzilla is coming to Netflix. They don't have an actual release date. They mentioned that it should be out sometime this year. They have a big poster on their website that says 2017. The poster's on the Toho website.
That's pretty cool. There was an animated series before for Godzilla with the American one, which...
Yeah, I believe that was like in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. I don't remember.
I think I saw like 1 episode or something. I didn't really care for it.
The Netflix is teaming up with the studio that did that Knights of Sidonia anime that Netflix has exclusively, and another anime called Blame to work on the Godzilla anime.
That's pretty cool. I guess they'll try to fill up that monster universe and make some money off of that.
Exactly. The other movie gone I have here is that James Cameron, for the past year, has been working on a 3D. Yes, 3D. For Terminator 2. And he's releasing it this year. This year's the 26th anniversary. That's coming out in August. They just mentioned August. I don't remember the date here. So, I mean, out of all 5, I think there's 5. Yeah, 5 Terminator movies. Terminator 2 is the one that's made the most money in worldwide. I think it stands at 519 million worldwide. And it's the best one in the series. At least it's my favorite one. When I was younger, I would watch that shit all the fucking time, whether it was on TV or VHS. For those of you who don't know, VHS is a big plastic thing that you pop in a VCR.
I've never heard of VHS before.
Well, sir, if you want to go into that retro feel, I suggest you go find one. You don't know what you're missing.
I'm kidding.
So, I wouldn't mind. I'm not a big fan of 3D movies, but watching Terminator 2 in the big screen again in 3D, it wouldn't hurt. I would actually go.
What about the Avatar movies? Isn't he working on that?
Yeah. So, with Avatar, also he announced that it will not make the 2018 deadline. He said that it's going to be pushed back for 2019 as of now. That's his target date. And that's because he's not only making Avatar 2, he's making Avatar 3, 4, and 5. So he's filming them all in one shot, and he's going to release them every couple of years. So I think he said 2 years apart.
Milking that money.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that fucking love that shit, but I was not a big fan of the first Avatar. To me, it's like I felt like I was watching Fern Gully. What's that? The John Carter, Princess of Mars book series, and even they made it into a movie series, with in space with aliens. I mean, to me, it was just more visually great to look at, groundbreaking, but I just wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah, I liked it. My fiance loved the movie. I don't know. I'm surprised they're making that many.
Well,
That's a big gamble.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we understand it's still holds the record, the highest grossing movie worldwide, $2.9 billion. I'm sure they made a shit ton of money with merchandising, Blu-ray sales. They also have, I think, is it in Disney World? They have the some Avatar Land, or Universal Studios.
It's gonna be in Animal Kingdom.
There you go. So Disney's the one that has it.
Yep.
So I'll watch the movie when it comes out, whenever it comes out, but it's not something I'm looking forward to.
Actually, because of that being pushed, we got Aquaman now taking up that spot, which is December 21st, 2018. Aquaman was initially in October, but so it got pushed to December because Avatar 2 is not being released that day.
Right.
And it's going to be competing against Spider-Man, which we're talking about the animated one that Sony's releasing. So that same day we'll have Aquaman live action and then animated Spider-Man. They're both superhero, but the Spider-Man one is more targeted towards the kids.
Yeah, I wonder why Sony decided to do that. They're releasing their live action Spider-Man this summer in July. They teamed up with Marvel, and then they're releasing a standalone animated film.
They're just Sony doesn't really think on their own. That's how I think of them, and I think they're doing this because of Lego. I think the people actually involved in Lego might have been involved in the Spider-Man one here. But I have to look it up to double check on that. But either way, I think they're just trying to do the animated superhero thing that like Lego Batman just happened. And I think I know there's always been cartoons of superheroes.
Yeah.
I think Sony's trying to expand and see other people are doing it as well. But I don't know how well that movie's going to do.
Now,
I don't know anyone that excited about it.
this is just speculation, but if the agreement that they have with Marvel only pertains to the live-action movies with Spider-Man, and there's a possibility that maybe if it doesn't pertain to the animated film, that Sony just wants to see what they can do by themselves without Marvel's hand. But again, I'm not too sure on the agreements that they made.
Well, I can tell you they're also doing a Venom movie, which actually related to Aquaman. It's taking up so Aquaman moved from October 5th to December 21st. Now Venom is taking that October 5th release date. We're talking about the year 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So Sony is releasing a Venom movie October 5th, 2018. The rumor is that it'll be rated R.
Really?
So once again, they're kind of doing the copying thing. Hey, Deadpool and Logan are doing so well,
right,
with the rated R thing. I'm not sure. The rated R thing is, obviously a rumor, but they are going to go ahead and release the spin-off. We're not even sure if Venom is going to be taking place in the MCU, which is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It might be totally on its own, standalone kind of thing. I have no idea.
Now, on top of that, Todd McFarlane has been saying for years that he has a script done for Spawn, and that last year after the success of Deadpool, that he says he's very close to making a deal to have a director, producer, and cast for a new Spawn movie, which he says will be very dark, as faithful to the comic book as possible.
Well, I saw him actually in Comic-Con last year, and he actually talked about the Spawn movie.
Okay.
It's not going to be your typical superhero movie because something about Spawn being a ghost. So this is based off some idea he had, and I don't know where this is going to go.
What do you think of Spawn being released in this day of age? Do you think he's still relevant as he was in the 90s when he first popped up?
Yeah, I definitely think he is, and he's worth having a full movie on. I would hope it was be based on the classical stuff we saw or read early on, because Spawn even had an HBO TV show that was animated,
which was actually pretty good. I owned that. It was 3 seasons.
Yeah, I love that show, and then the movie did okay. At the time when I watched it, I liked it. I don't know if I still like it now. Maybe I will. But movie? Spawn's a great comic book series.
You mean with John Leguizamo?
Yes, as a clown.
I believe it was on Netflix a while ago, and I saw it, and it does not hold up well. Maybe they'll get John Leguizamo to do a cameo in the new one.
I don't know about that, but I do know that it's not going to be what you expect it to be. I think everybody wanted it to be what we saw or read, a long time ago, and instead of this ghost stuff. I don't know why he wants to go this route. Just seeing him at the Comic-Con and stuff and talking, he sounded very cocky and willing to take a lot of risks. So we'll see. I do think if they just went with the source material from the beginning, that would be great and could rival Deadpool. Deadpool has a lot of haha in it, but Spawn is not in any way a comedian. Very serious.
I'm all for seeing one. I just don't think it'll be a big financial success. Like, let's say something like Deadpool.
Yeah, I don't think it would. I don't think it'll make as much money as Deadpool without the comedy, which is fine. Everything has to be the same.
Right.
Logan wasn't funny, and it did well. It had its moments.
Yeah, it's doing well.
I don't expect Spawn to be funny, period. It's just going to be, pretty serious. It should be. They might change it. Well, I'm talking about as if they're going to do that. They're not. They're doing something totally different, unless he gets convinced to do it otherwise.
And another thing in the superhero
but just
world.
Just an FYI for the listeners. He was usually not usually. Tom McFarlane used to be on the comic book for Spider-Man. He used to be the artist, and he's the first one that drew Venom.
Venom, yeah.
So that's why his fame is from. And when he draws Spawn, if you compare it to That's that art style back in Spider-Man when he was the artist. It
He
looks
was
very
the artist,
similar.
I believe, in the late '80s for Spider-Man, and then he
It was
went.
early.
He
I
went
think it
into
was like early '90s, but
well, no, early
he
'90s. I think 91, 92 is when he left, and he formed Image or helped form it, and then he created Spawn for Image.
yeah, and
Was it
so
Image? I'm
that's his
confused.
fame. Spider-Man to
Yeah.
Spawn, but it all started with his drawing style in comic books.
Yeah, there's a rumor. This is just a rumor that the Man of Steel sequel, right now it's just being called Man of Steel 2, has a possible director. And again, this is a rumor. The possible director is Matthew Vaughn.
Is that the guy who did the X-Men: Days of Future Past? Right?
No, Matthew. That's Bryan Singer.
No.
Matthew
Sorry.
Vaughn did First Class.
First Class. Sorry.
And
He did the script, and they kept it most
of it. Yeah.
Most of it, but he didn't.
He didn't direct it. He did. He started off as a producer, like in the early 2000s with Guy Ritchie. He produced Snatch, and then he went and directed Layer Cake with Daniel Craig. A very good movie. And then after that, he did. He teamed up with Mark Miller and did Kick-Ass. He directed Kick-Ass. A great comic book movie. And then after that, he did First Class, Kingsman, which came out. What is it? 2 years ago? Oh shit! 2 years. Wow. I had no idea that it was that long. That was a great fucking movie. He took the again the spy genre. And just completely did a 180 and did something unique and fun, and it's a great fucking movie. You guys haven't seen it. He's Kingsman 2. He just directed it last year. It's being released this year. I'm not too sure on the release date. I think it's going to be summer. And the rumor is he's working on Man of Steel 2 or might direct Man of Steel 2. I think that'll be he's a great choice if he does actually sign on to do that. All his movies I'm a fan of. Hasn't done anything that I don't like, so that's interesting to see if it happens. I'm leaning on the side that it might not happen because in the past he has mentioned that he wouldn't want to come on a property that he hasn't been on from the beginning. And Man of Steel is something that he hasn't, had any hand in from the beginning. Another news this week is a Matrix reboot or remake is announced by Warner Brothers.
Does that movie need a reboot already or remake?
I don't think so. It's 18 years ago is when the first one came out. The first one came out, I believe, March of 1999. And it still holds up. It's a fucking classic. It's an amazing science fiction action movie. I don't see why they need to do a remake or a reboot or anything with the re in it to that series. If they must do anything, I think they should expand on it. They should just maybe possibly do like a sequel / reboot or like a sequel but with new cast. So maybe set it like 10, 20 years after the third film in the series, where the machines somehow rise up again and a new group of actors comes in, and then have at least some of the old actors. Kind of like what they did with The Force Awakens, where they have a new set of actors to continue the series, but still have the veteran actors from the first trilogy pop up here and there to kind of help them along. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I don't know. I do feel like that movie series, it's too soon. I mean, we say this and they're doing it to Spider-Man now, but it's weird.
Yeah, man, I completely agree. I just don't see that. I don't see the need for that. I mean, yeah, it's almost 20 years since the first one came out. The third one came out in 2003. I think it's too soon for a remake or a reboot. A sequel to expand on it, as we just discussed, that would be, I would be okay with that. I'm just not down for the whole fucking remake reboot shit that Hollywood likes to do.
Yeah, they love to do that kind of stuff over and over and over. because they
Yeah.
know it's proven money. It's not such a big risk as going with something totally new.
Yeah, man. I have some quick pointers here in gaming news.
Actually, yeah, I do have
Yeah, go ahead.
one thing about movies. Well, not actually a movie, but TV show. So the Power Rangers actor, I think his name was Ricardo Medina. He was part of the Red. He was a sorry, the Wild Force Ranger. He was a Red Ranger back in 2002. He was a while back. Was caught stabbing his roommate, and he's getting sentenced on March 30.
Why the fuck did he stab his roommate?
I'm not quite sure. They just this article just mentioned this is based off of MSN. I have heard this news before. It's not new, but I think his sentencing is new. So this happened while a few years ago, and he stabbed someone with a sword, his roommate, and I'm not sure why.
With
Maybe
a
they got in an
sword?
argument. Yeah, with a sword.
Holy shit. That's funny.
So pretty out there. I
It's
guess
bad,
it's
but
making the
funny.
news because of the movie.
You were dragged into seeing Beauty and the Beast, or you chose to go?
No, I chose to go. I'm a big Disney fan, so I there was no dragging involved here.
So you have
The,
you're a
the
kid.
cast
You're a
was
kid at
stellar.
heart.
You have say that again.
You're a kid at heart.
Yeah, really, I am, and I like a lot of the Disney. I watch all the Disney stuff. I know most of them.
I'm a huge fan of Pixar's work. Although Pixar, they've had a couple of I wouldn't say terrible films, but a couple of disappointing films, like not their usual formula. But anyways, we can talk about that later. Give me your Beauty and the Beast.
Well, just starting with the cast. The cast is pretty stellar here. We have Emma Watson playing Belle. Dan Stevens. You mentioned you've watched him on Legion.
Yeah,
He's in a few other things
he's
too.
in a few other things. I
Luke
think
Evans,
he was in
if you remember.
Downtown Abbey, is where a lot of people might know him from.
Yes, yes. And then we have Luke Evans. He was in The Hobbit and that Dracula Untold. I think it was Untold.
Yeah, and he was in one or two of the Fast and the Furious films. The
Yeah,
recent
he
ones.
plays Gaston, and he does a really good job. Like,
Gaston.
I couldn't ask for better. And then his little sidekick, LeFou, played by Josh Gad. He does a great job. This is the character in the movie that caused some controversy over the past few weeks, because his character is supposed to be gay, and it's a Disney movie. Oh no, we can't have gays in Disney movies. So
I heard about that controversy. So like some business stopped cross promoting the movie because of that.
maybe I wouldn't be surprised. I do know
I just
that
don't remember the business.
one theater in what a surprise, Alabama was not going to play the movie.
Why do you say what a surprise? Because it's Alabama and it's in the South?
Yeah, it's stereotypical stuff, right?
I think that was the business that I might have seen that wasn't going to promote or play the movie.
Yeah, just a comment on his character in the movie. They never outright say he's gay. There's obviously a lot of hints that he's gay. I can tell you in the end, there's a guy who kind of comes off as also as gay, and they meet each other, and they're kind of like, oh, hey, but they never like do anything or whatever.
Right. What you're saying is subtle.
It's subtle. There's one joke in there. There's a few jokes in there too. Like Gaston, tells like full like in one line, he's like, I don't know why no girls are interested in you. He kind of smirks.
It just kind of baffles me that we're in 2017 and people are still ignorant to homosexuality.
Well, people are.
Which is, everybody has the right to their own opinion, but
It'll take a while. I didn't want to make this whole thing a gay thing, but
no, we don't have to.
It's just you had to talk about it because there was so much.
I'll just point it out there.
This.
You and I are okay with homosexuality.
Yeah, especially you.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
So
Hmm.
Ian McKellen, which is Gandalf and Magneto. He plays
Sir
as
Ian
Cogsworth.
McKellen. Is he a
Yes,
sir?
sir.
Yeah, he is a sir.
He plays Cogsworth, which is the clock. Those are the big ones. The rest of the cast is they're all
Ewan McGregor. You mentioned that, right? Lumiere.
yeah. Wait, did I?
Emma
No, I
Thompson.
didn't. I didn't mention
Emma
him. Sorry,
Thompson plays Miss Potts.
Emma Thompson. Yes,
Yeah.
and
Stanley Tucci plays Maestro Cadenza.
there's Kevin Kline too. I mean, there's a bunch of them. I just went over some of the major stars, basically. I mean, Josh Gad is, I guess, getting there.
He's the
I know him from
snowman
Olaf, Frozen.
from Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So great cast. They all sing well enough. Some of them better than the others.
Oh, they're singing in this fucking movie?
Okay, here a little bit more into the movie. I'm trying to be spoiler free, but it's Beauty and the Beast. This has been out for a long time. If you have watched animated film, this movie is extremely faithful to it. Like, as in many of the parts
Mm-hmm.
or actions in the movie are just like from the animated movie. It is the most faithful movie I've seen towards its source material in America. I mean,
So,
the Japanese usually are very faithful when they do their movies.
yeah.
This is the first time I've seen an American release of a movie being so faithful to the source material.
Huh.
Like creepy, not creepy, but way faithful.
So more
There,
faithful than Disney's previous live action animated live action movies based on animated properties. For example, more faithful than Jungle Book and Cinderella.
yeah. Actually, I never watched Cinderella, but
I saw
Jungle Book.
Cinderella. It was not. It was actually. I was not bored at all. It had my interest. It was a well done movie. I think it had some similarities to the Disney animated movie Cinderella, but it wasn't 100%. Obviously, it wasn't like majorly an exact translation of that, which I enjoy. But now you're telling me that Beauty and the Beast is almost like, what is it, like shot for shot or translated from cartoon to live action. I'm not too sure
Yeah,
how I feel about that. Maybe they do it well once
no,
I watch it.
I actually own the Blu-ray, and I watched. It was on sale Black Friday, so I watched it recently. Not like the past month, but maybe 2 months ago.
That's a fucking good movie. It's still hailed as one of the best animated movies Disney has ever done.
Yeah, it's up there. I mean, Disney World is a few things dedicated to that, and it's a great movie. There was no reason to really change the formula. It worked really well, and this music worked really well. So guess what? All the songs from the animated movie are here,
Really?
and basically the same exact thing.
Oh wow.
Right? Yeah, like the very first song, I'm like, yep, this is gonna be just like it. Or because sometimes you see trailers and they're trying to show off, oh, we're faithful to the source material, so if you're a fan, watch this. But then when you watch the trailer and you watch real film, the trailer had all the faithful parts, and but here the whole thing is they even helped it get say helped it get better, but it was improved on too. So there's the section of the movie where Belle is falling for the beast.
Right.
They expanded on that, and the stuff they expanded on made more sense why she was falling for him. So like that's great because in the animated film it was kind of rushed. Basically, oh, here's a library and you fall in love with me now. Well, also he saved
So
her
they
life.
do
But
expand a bit.
yeah, there's like 2 extra scenes I would say that would have her fall for him.
The animated film was like 90 minutes. This is like 2 hours. So there's like 20 or 30 minutes of extra footage.
Yeah, just watching the animated film and then watching this, you could tell what was the extras, and then the extras all it did was help the movie. It didn't really slow it down or anything.
Mm-hmm.
They expanded on a little bit on the enchantress that cursed him in the castle. They expanded a little bit on their love, and they added about I think maybe 2, maybe 3 songs in there, and they're all good too. And I say, yeah, I think that's. I can't think of what else was expanded on. When I talk about these scenes, this is the only scenes I can think that were expanded on. Everything else is basically the animated movie. Um, they added some comedy, I guess, to it too, which was always there anyway. But some more additions.
Hmm.
So I say overall the movie was. If you loved the original animated film, you would love this movie. The singing, the acting, uh, the story was all great. I would give this a high rating. I don't know about what I would give it out of a 10, but it's up there.
There you have it. Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, go
Would you
watch.
consider
It's fun.
yourself? Would you consider yourself Beauty or the Beast?
I am neither.
I also saw a film yesterday. It was the thriller or horror thriller Get Out. It was I'll start off in saying it was a surprisingly well done thriller, mystery horror film. It's a combination of a few genres. It had me laughing, it had mystery, and towards the end, when the third act kicks in, a mixture of suspense and horror. It was directed and written by Jordan Peele from the Key and Peele comedy show from a few years back on Comedy Central. He's I know for a while that Jordan Peele, he's a big movie fan, loves horror movies, and I read somewhere that actually I listened to him on a podcast that he fought to make this movie for a few years, and he finally raised the money, the funds for the movie, went out and made it, and it was well done. There's a lot of people that you might know. Catherine Kinnear, she's in it. She plays the mom of his girlfriend. The main character is Chris. His girlfriend is Rose. The actor that plays Chris is Daniel Kaluuya. He's been in a few movies here and there. He was in the 2015 nominated film Sicario. He played one of the FBI agents, friend to Emily Blunt in that film. And he's going to appear in the upcoming Black Panther. He's a very good actor, and I look forward to seeing more of him. There's a lot of other actors there that I'm not going to go through, but the movie was well done. Like I said, it was... It's, without giving a lot away from the story, it's... Chris is a black man. He has a white girlfriend, and they go to her family's house for the weekend. It's a big estate that the next house is like across a lake or something. So there's nobody around for many, I don't know how many miles. But it was a very, very good movie. I can't really go into too much into describing it or saying what's going to happen or what happens, because that's going to give a lot away. But if you want to watch a thriller, definitely go check out Get Out. It gets my seal of thumbs up.
I didn't watch the movie, but is there anything supernatural in this movie?
No, there's nothing supernatural at all. It is, I guess,
It's considered a horror movie.
Yeah, it's considered like I would say thriller, but they labeled it as horror. But there's nothing supernatural, no ghosts, no demons, nothing. It's and then I wouldn't even say, I don't want to say it's a slasher film either, but definitely go check it out. You'll laugh and you'll be in suspense.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it when it's out, like on Netflix or something.
No, dude, go watch it.
I don't see myself having time
It's that
this
fucking
month.
good.
Next week is Power Rangers. The week after that, Ghost in the Shell.
I mean, the word of mouth has been well. The movie was made for $5 million was the budget, and it's already grossed in America alone $115 million in just, what is it, 3 weeks? That's pretty fucking impressive.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's gotten. I think IMDb has it at an 8 out of 10 from members And Rotten Tomatoes, I think it was at a 80% fresh rating at one point. Not sure if it's changed. But that's also pretty impressive for a horror thriller. Worth checking out.
Get Out.
Actually, it's at 99%. Holy fuck. I don't recall a horror thriller at 99% on Rotten Tomatoes like ever.
What is Silence of the Lambs rated?
The fuck
That's
I
a
know.
question.
I don't think it's at 99%.
It's a classic.
Yeah. I can't I'm not comparing those movies, but if you want to know, Rotten Tomatoes has it at 95%.
That's that's interesting. 99%, huh?
Yeah. I'm fucking surprised.
TV shows, movies.
I have some quick gaming news. So there's a rumor that Blizzard is working on a remaster of StarCraft. Nothing official from Blizzard. If it actually is true, that they say that it should be released this year because the rumor started last year at BlizzCon. Is that what it's called? BlizzCon? Is that the con that you've been to?
Yeah, it's called BlizzCon.
Yeah, that's where the rumor started a year ago. And they're saying that it should be out this year. So all you StarCraft fans will now be able to do it in 1080p HD with 3D effects.
The Warcraft movie was. I actually own it. I don't know if I should have owned it. I only seen it once, but I got it on sale.
I saw it.
But it's a good movie. But the problem with that movie is you have to know the back. You have to play the game.
Yeah, you have to know the lore of Warcraft. Yeah,
because they basically rush into it, and you're like, who, what? You have to like refresh yourself on the lore of Warcraft.
That's the thing,
especially at the very beginning of it.
We discussed it. I think I started watching that with my fiance. I don't think she finished it. I think she had to leave or something. But she liked what she saw, from what I remember her telling me. It felt like the Warcraft movie that came out, I believe, last summer. It was rushed, like not rushed, but like edited. Like they took out many scenes, like a lot of scenes that should have been left. Maybe explaining more, more detail. What characters were here? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? I felt like a lot of that was just cut out, and they're like, okay, here we go. Let's just keep going. Here's another action scene. Like there wasn't a lot of explanation for somebody who's not familiar with the video game series. That's what I felt
if you were not
missing.
a fan of the video game series, if you watch it, you would just watch it for the action because you'll just get lost in what's actually happening.
Yeah, exactly. I felt that was, and the rumor was that the director had a longer cut. I think he said like half an hour of additional footage or 45 minutes that he was forced to cut out because the studio told him to.
That's crazy, and I believe it because there is a lot not explained.
There's a lot in that movie that you can tell was just very badly edited and just taken out. Another quick thing that I have here in gaming news: Capcom is releasing the classic games from the NES and Super NES era. It's a bundle. It's the Capcom. It's called the Disney Capcom Collection. It includes DuckTales, Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, and Darkwing Duck.
Actually, I remember seeing that. Yeah, they're releasing that. It's I guess because of the success of which one was it? I think it was DuckTales.
Yeah, DuckTales I actually have on the PS3. Didn't finish it, the HD remaster. But it was fun from what I remember playing. I actually owned it on the NES. I owned on the NES. I owned DuckTales and Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers. I never owned Tailspin or Darkwing Duck. I think Tailspin was Sega Genesis, and Darkwing Duck was Super Nintendo era. But in either case, they're releasing it on April 18th for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and the PC for the $19.99 retail price. That's something to look forward to for you retro fans. One thing that I wanted to get on is that for years, Mass Effect, Hollywood has had the rights to make it into a movie since 2010. I think that's around the time that this Mass Effect 2 came out on Xbox 360, PS3 era. And next week is the release of the fourth game in the series, Mass Effect Andromeda. So, one thing I wanted to ask our listeners is they can answer this or send us their thoughts on Twitter at Bits for You Podcast, Facebook, Bits for You Podcast.
Or even the 4 is number 4.
The 4 is the actual number 4. Yeah, or Bits for You Podcast at gmail.com. Who they would like to see play the lead in the movie, Commander Shepard. Now, if you're familiar with the game series, you know that you can pick a female Commander Shepard or a male Commander Shepard. So, if you would like a female Commander Shepard in the movie, which actress would you like to take on that role? And same thing for a male Commander Shepard in the movie, which actor would you like to take on that role? Send us your actors, actresses to Twitter, Facebook, or email. Javier, who do you have any actors or actresses you would like to take on that role?
I don't know, because that role isn't to me very impactful. It sounds weird, because you're always that person in the game, and they all talk great about stuff about you. It could really just be any generic person. And plus, in the game you can make it male or female.
I'm gonna throw out an actress for the female Commander Shepard, Emily Blunt. I would like her to take on the role.
I feel like Hollywood just give it a big name, like Scarlett Johansson or something.
Well, Emily Blunt is that lady from that movie with Tom Cruise, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I no doubt she would be good too, but I just feel like they will go with an even bigger name if they're gonna give it to an actress. And I don't know anybody else as in terms of females for action movies.
Yeah,
that as big as Scarlett Johansson right now.
Yeah, speaking of that, her movie, The Ghost in the Shell, based on the Masamune Shirow manga from the 80s, and the anime movie from 95, I believe, is coming out in 2 weeks, starring Scarlett Johansson. Marvel's still talking, or at least she's mentioned in interviews here and there promoting this Ghost in the Shell movie, that she's very interested in doing a Black Widow movie. Hopefully Marvel can get their ball going, but they have a shit ton of movies coming out for the next 3 years. So hopefully they can squeeze in a Black Widow movie. I would like to see a Black Widow movie.
I don't know. Marvel's has yet. They're going to do with the Captain Marvel, which we mentioned. The actress is in Kong.
Yeah,
but besides that, I don't know any other female lead movies they're making. Everything's been male. They've had their chance with Black Widow, and they never did it. I don't know. I think at this point I don't know if they're going to do it at this point. They're going to Infinity War here. I don't know what's going to happen after that. We
can always dream, sir.
Or you can just watch Ghost in the Shell.
That's true.
The trailers make it look good. I'm hopeful it's good. They haven't had a good anime movie in never.
Yeah, it's directed by Rupert Sanders. I think this is his second major feature film credit. His first one was the 2012 Snow White and the Huntsman movie, which starred the actor that plays Thor, Chris Hemsworth, and the Twilight Lady, Kristen Stewart. That movie, there was a couple of scenes, especially the ones in the forest, that reminded me of Princess Mononoke. And that's why this movie, since he's directing it, I have hope that the looks, especially from the trailers, is very faithful to the anime or manga. I'm not too familiar with the manga, but it is faithful in some scenes from the trailer, even though it's like only 2.5 minutes to the anime.
That's interesting. Yeah, and the trailer makes it look like it's faithful. Let's see when it comes to.
Give me some gaming news. What are you? How far are you in Zelda? Are you almost done?
Yeah, it's specific about Nintendo Switch. There's been obviously a big demand for it, and Walmart was supposed to be stocking up here soon, and I think they did send out some, but there's people complaining and they ordered it and they are not getting it, and then that customer service is basically saying go ahead and cancel your order or there's no more in stock. So there's people getting turned back from Amazon. I mean, sorry,
You're talking
Walmart.
about for the Switch, the system?
Yeah, the system.
Yeah, there were some numbers released. Didn't they sell worldwide almost 2 million? Or is it 1.5 million worldwide?
1.5 mil, 800,000 was from the US. For only one weekend.
Now, compared to the recent console launches, I think those numbers are low.
Not for a weekend. Like I said, this is not like a month or something. This is just a weekend. 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So moving that much in 2 days is quite the big thing.
I believe that Nintendo does this on purpose. They create these supply shortages to create demand.
Right. I think we might have even talked about this before on the podcast. This is a strategy toy companies love to do, and
yeah, Nintendo is just guilty of this. There's a book that I'm halfway through it, maybe a little bit more than halfway, called Console Wars. I think I mentioned that before. I'm gonna quickly try to read it and review it here on the show. The book clearly points that even from the beginning, when Nintendo first released the NES in Japan in '83 and then in America in '85, that they shortchanged. That they created these supply shortages. They have the capacity and the consoles in warehouses waiting to be shipped, but they won't ship them. Well, they don't flat out say that they have them waiting, but they have the capacity. They hint at that in the book. And the book is gathered by like over 100 interviews from old employees from Nintendo and Sega. So it talks about how in the 80s and 90s there was that war with, especially in the 90s, with Sega, and whether you were a Sega fan or a Nintendo fan. And the book is being turned into a movie by Seth Rogen. He's a big gamer, so he's been trying to turn it into a movie for the past 2 years. I haven't seen anything new or any updates on the movie. It's still on his IMDb as an upcoming project. But the book is fucking amazing so far. It reads like it's like you're reading a movie. It's like you keep turning the page. It's that good.
Well, let me go into the Zelda news. Well, it's not actually news. Just my feedback on the game. I'm pretty much towards the end of the story. I actually had the chance to fight Ganon. I actually activated the fight by accident because I was exploring Hyrule Castle. I'm not surprised. This is not really a big spoiler. Ganon's the final boss, and he's at Hyrule Castle. So, but I've done other things in the game. Something if you want to progress in the story, 4 major things to do in the game, and once you do it, you are able to fight them. Although I think I'm not sure if it's optional. It might be optional to get the Master Sword. I'm pretty sure you have to do it, or else the fight would be crazy. I just completed another big side quest that takes a while to do. You can't do it in the beginning of the game. You get it in the beginning of the game, but you can't really do it till much later. Because one of the points of that quest take you to Hyrule Castle, that's how I accidentally, started that fight. I got to the wrong room. But anyways,
right.
That quest, you can't do it unless you're towards the end of the game. And I saw that you should do that quest because it opens up another cutscene for you after the game.
Sorry,
supposedly.
Don't spoil anything for us.
Yeah, I'm just letting people know there's a pretty big and important side quest.
All right.
You should do that. I just did it, and I did the 4 major points that were in the story. It's trying to dance around and not tell you what it is. I'm actually gonna start farming rupees and buy an armor set that I want, and then I'm gonna go ahead and face Ganon. There's still other things I haven't done in the game, so even though I say I finished the story, there's a lot of other things I could do in the game. There's just a lot of exploring, a lot of side things to do. It's a huge game.
I was watching a video on YouTube about the game, and the amount of work that the developers for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild took and detail in making this game is just fucking remarkable. Like, it's an open world game, so the many gamers know that I guess you can say the crown of open world games belongs to Grand Theft Auto. the Grand Theft Auto series. Each sequel they make, it just does something revolutionary with each one, and even other games like Red Dead Redemption, which is getting a sequel this year, which I'm fucking excited about because I love the first Red Dead Redemption, and I'm happy that they're making a sequel. Or made it because it's coming out this year. But there was the video. You see Link. You have to figure out how to get to some island, but I think that from what I understand is that you can't swim to the island because your stamina or something you get tired, and you drown. So the guy chops down a tree on top of a hill. The tree rolls down the hill, goes in the lake. You then see the gamer make Link go to the tree that's floating on the lake, and they finally get to the island. They finally have the distance to swim or get to the island. Now that amount of detail, it's just something that I've never seen Nintendo do before, and I applaud them for doing that.
Yeah, this game definitely gives a new. This game is the best open world.
That's what I've been hearing. I've never played it, but that video just I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, the open world in that game is crazy. Like a lot of games, a lot of stuff is repeated, or there's not that much detail in each area where you can do stuff, different things. But in this game, it's insane how much you can do and how different everything is. The only complaints I have so far with the game is I have horses. I have about 3 horses. One of them is the legendary horse, Epona. Now, I love horses and riding them, but there's several areas in the game you cannot go with horses, like mountains and stuff. So you need to climb the mountains. So plenty of times I don't actually use horses. I wish you could. I know that maybe it doesn't make too much sense, but teleport them around.
Right. But that's another thing that I saw in the video. You can practically. You see anything in the world, you can go to it. You can climb it. You want to climb a cliff, a mountain, you can do it. You want to climb a house, you can do it.
Yeah, there's even wild animals like a bear or deer. You actually can get on them and ride them. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they really outdid themselves with this game.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a con, to me it's the fact that horses are not as valuable as I would want them to be. And another thing I would say is the weapon durability.
Somebody that kisses Nintendo's ass actually gave us a con.
Yeah, it's not like the hugest con here, but it's something to complain about.
I'll take what I can get, sir.
Yeah, and the weapons, you'll find some cool weapons, but they'll break eventually. And I say eventually, if you use it enough, it just breaks, and it's kind of sucks. So that's another thing I would say I hate about it. I say hate about it, but it's something I don't like. The weapon durability, they don't last that long.
So they kind of took the route of...
Towards the end of the game, you'll find stuff that lasts longer. Compared to the beginning of the game where things do break pretty quickly in the beginning.
They wanted you.
So you'll find sticks or something.
They wanted people to grind in the beginning of the game.
It's not really grinding. It's just... There's plenty of weapons to get in the beginning. It's just... They break easy and fast. Sometimes you don't really want to fight because you're like, no, I don't want to use my weapon for this. And to be honest, there's no experience in the game. You don't get experience points for killing something. You usually do it to get treasure, or they attack you, something like, or you actually want to get somewhere and they're in the way, things like that. And actually, in the game, there's a way to avoid monsters really easily. I guess semi-spoiler here is that there's a way in the game to get masks of these creatures. So let's say you're fighting like the goblins. There's a goblin mask. You can just put it on and they won't attack you. Now, if you start attacking them, yeah, they're gonna fight you. But this is the one way to avoid them, and I like doing that.
Mucho interesante.
Yeah, and then I guess a kind of a wrap up here about video games is the amiibos. The Zelda amiibos have all been selling really well to the point where actually one of my friends was not playing the game, but he wanted to get the Zelda amiibo. She was getting hard to get. She's sold out on several places. Amiibos are known to be sell out, and then they don't really make them anymore. my friend is a big collector of amiibos. He has a lot of them, and there's just certain ones he can't get because they're not making them. And Nintendo will just randomly release them. So let's say you are a amiibo collector. I'll give you an example. The Super Smash version of Yoshi is difficult to get.
Right.
Nintendo of America website, well, I said the web store, did have it available. It sold out pretty quickly. Actually, as I'm speaking, they have Little Mac. Little Mac is another one that's really hard to get. Anyways, all these other ones are getting harder and harder to get, and I'm glad I got them all before that happened. I also was able to get the Super Smash Brothers version of Link, like Adult Link, and he's the one you need to get Epona. I saw him in the Nintendo web store, and I bought him immediately. He's not available anymore, and this is like a week ago. And people go on eBay and stuff and sell them for ridiculous prices. I was like, maybe I should have bought another one.
Are you going to do that, sir? You're going to sell it for ridiculous prices?
No, I opened it and played it. And used it. I mean, I could have bought another one and sell it for like double the price or more online, but I didn't, and I don't know if I would want to do that anyway. It's kind of a douche move to buy something and just sell it for a higher price. I know people do it all the time and to make money, and that's, to me, that's a fine.
Well, I thank you for not doing that, sir. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just a heads up. If you're looking for specific amiibos, just go to the Nintendo web store. I think almost weekly they put something in there that you don't usually can't find. I think, at least lately, it's been like that. So you can also go to the subreddit amiibo, and sometimes people will talk about what they found, and you'll get some indication what to get.
Yeah, you already know how I feel about amiibos.
Yeah, it's mostly for collecting them. Like you like how they look, or whatever, or you just want to collect the whole thing. Like my friend, he does not even open the box. They all stay in the box. He just collects them. I have them all out of the box, the ones I have, and I use them if I want to, or if not, they're just there for decoration. Like some of the Super Smash Bros. Ones, I haven't not used them forever. They're just out there for decoration. So for video game news, that is wrapping it up. Do you have any other thing you want to mention?
No, that just next week, if the world doesn't end, we will have a special guest talk about some scorecards.
Yeah, and I think they're a lot of fun, and we'll talk in detail about it next week with the guest, because he's the one who created it, and he can tell you his intentions and how to play and all that stuff.
We'll give him
how to get it.
The time to give us the 411 on all that. Okay, that was the end of episode 7. We'll be back later with the special guest. And I haven't really been giving much input in the MMA world news because I've been busy every time there's a freaking event. The last one, it was I was on vacation, and this past weekend's fight night, which was in London, I was busy Saturday, so I was not able to watch it. But I'm going to try my best to watch the next big UFC and give my input on that. This episode was recorded on the 16th and 18th of March. If you enjoyed this, please support the podcast by leaving a review and rate us on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, or any of the other podcast platforms. Share this with your friends and family. And while you're at it, why not share it on social media? You can stalk us on Twitter at ppwPodcast. That's the number 4 after the word bits. On Facebook, you can find us by searching Bits for You Podcast, or send an email, bits, the number 4, YOU, podcast at gmail.com. That's bits4upodcast at gmail.com. If there's something you want to ask us or wish to discuss on the show, send us your questions. It doesn't have to only be about entertainment, news or questions. It could be anything. If you're having a bad day, share with us something around you. It's making you upset or bring some happiness in your life. You can share that with us as well. And if you want to let us know how much you love this podcast or how much you hate it, also send us your emails, give us comments on Facebook or Twitter. I'll have a list on how you can send us these questions or comments on the description of this episode. Thank you for listening.